So I just wanted to take a bit more of a walk around Occupy Lansing. Wave! Hey. And these guys have more trees in their park. I dig that. So, but this apparently, as they were saying earlier, in Occupy Lansing, yeah, it makes it more interesting. I guess they're not going to be able to camp here much longer. They're not going to be able to sleep here. So, unfortunately, I missed my opportunity. I was hoping to spend a weekend. I'll probably try to make some kind of other arrangements, but looks like I got quite a setup here. I totally would have loved to polar bear camp out here again, but I'll get my opportunity later.
When you're ready.
All right, we are here with, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Glenn, Occupy Everywhere Myron on Facebook. I spent about 3 weeks here at Occupy Lansing, but I'm back home now trying to get Occupy Saginaw going well. We don't have a camp yet, but we've been doing direct actions, and we're going to be merging with the other two Tri-Cities of Bay City and Midland pretty soon. And I'm trying to organize a march on your state capitol for the 6-month anniversary of Occupy Wall Street. That's March 17th. Yep, that's St. Patrick's Day, but we might be able to use that to our advantage. I'm hoping that people all over Michigan and actually all over the country hit the roadways and hike, march, whatever way you want to do it, march to your state capitol and have a demonstration all weekend long and occupy your state capitol that weekend. That'll be the 6-month anniversary of OWS. I don't see how we can pass that up. It's a great way to kick off the spring blossoming of this whole movement as it regenerates after a cold winter.
Awesome. Now, how did you get involved with Occupy?
Actually, the first thing that got me going was seeing the video of Officer Bologna in New York pepper spray those 4 women inside the fence. That was when I first really became aware of what was going on.
Right.
And the more I learned about it, the more I realized this is the movement I've been waiting for my whole life. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was too old, I'm too young to have been able to be a part of any of the civil rights movement or the Vietnam War protests. And, you know, I've done anti-war protests in the past. I've counter-protested against the Klan, but I saw what was going on with this, and I'm like, finally people are doing what I've been thinking we needed to do.
Have you been part of any, okay, well, yeah, I guess you kind of talked about that, your previous activism experience.
Yeah.
Now, can you define for me a moment in your life where you went from being just someone who's kind of part of the world to someone who wanted to make it better? When was the moment that you took up activism? Can you pinpoint that?
Probably when I was 19. I was hanging out with a lot of revolutionaries at the time. Mm-hmm. I was never a communist myself, but I knew a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And they talked me into going to Paynesville, Ohio, a long time ago, to counter-protest the KKK. Mm-hmm. They were having a big demonstration there. And we went down to that, and we counter-protested them all day long. And it wasn't a pretty scene. The police were involved, and there was mounted police charging the crowd on horses, tear gas. It was anything but a peaceful protest, and I'm kind of glad I've gotten away from that sort of protest, but I'm really happy to be part of something nonviolent.
That's awesome. Where do you see, where would you like to see the Occupy movement evolve to?
Political action. I make no bones about the fact that I think the Occupy movement needs to hijack the Democratic Party back to the left where the Democrats belong. I'm talking Roosevelt and Kennedy style of liberalism. I mean, we live in an age where the saints of the Republican Party, Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan, would be moderate Democrats today. You know, their heroes couldn't even get a nomination. The Republicans have swung so far to the right and they've dragged our whole country with them. It's disheartening to see it happen. We need to take the Democrats back to the left. We need to turn progressive and liberal into good words, not dirty words that Reagan made it.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for being on.
No problem.
All right, I'm here with, introduce yourself.
Raphael from, oh, great. I just noticed you're on poster. From Occupy Lansing.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, how did you get involved with Occupy Lansing?
Well, I've been involved with it since, like, really before it happened. Mm-hmm. Like, I was involved in the 2-week planning for the Occupy Lansing rally at the Capitol, like on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were planning that, a couple of people just kind of jumped the gun and went and started, like, sleeping in the park. Mm-hmm. And then tents started developing, and and there was a little bit of edginess between the two movements at first, because we just didn't know, it wasn't part of our plan in organizing the rally. So I went down like on the 13th, a couple of days before the rally, and started camping with them, and found out that they were great people. So
well, that's awesome. Now, is this your first activism?
Oh, no, I'm a professional activist, pretty much.
Okay, like, you want to give a little background on what kind of activist you've been?
Sure, I've done everything. I mean, I've been involved in like regular, like, you know, go to Washington and march around against like the wars and stuff. I've tried to like take over the Democratic Party from within, back with a group called the Peace and Justice Coalition in the 80s. I've been, in terms of partisan politics, I was involved in like the Jesse Jackson campaign. I was the regional volunteer coordinator for oh boy, what's his name? Governor Jerry Brown. Brown, when he ran in '92. And I'm in a punk band called the Army of God that like does political songs and stuff. Well,
that's awesome. And what do you see? Like, what would you like to see the Occupy movement evolve to? Like what do you see for the future?
It's really up to us. That's the thing. It's if we don't like limit ourselves, we can expand in like all kinds of directions. I want to see a full court press. In terms of everything, I want to see. There's people that you may be familiar. There are these documents coming forward. Actually, I guess they're patterned off of a document that came forward in Wall Street called the Autonomy document, that says that the movement will never do anything like partisan political, never like actually like work to endorse a candidate or anything. It will never be like its own party. And why limit yourself? I don't understand. Just everybody do what they feel is going to be most effective and try to convince other people to join.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Now, I mean, have you been camping here, or?
Yeah, I've been. There may have been like 2 or 3 nights since the October 13th that I haven't been here.
No, well, that's still pretty awesome. Yeah. What do you think now about the mayor not allowing us to sleep out here anymore?
It's just paternalistic. I guess I suspect there might be like more secret backroom deals and people like leaning on him. But let's for the moment just take it on what he says about how he's so worried about our health and stuff. It's just ridiculous. I'm never warmer than under my 17 blankets. There's no way I'm gonna. I'm at the warmest at night, like under my blankets, warmer than I am at home. So.
Yeah, but there definitely is a skill to winter camping that you have to be ready for.
Well, I'm totally unskilled. Like I was never in the Boy Scouts or anything. But I mean, whatever. Just make sure that the bed is dry and pile on blankets, and you're good to go.
Well, that's awesome. Well, do you have any final words for all those watching?
Yeah. Well, I noticed I support Ron Paul pin, and yeah, I am actually right now. Trying to send out this kind of chain email, trying to get like kind of left of center people who would never consider normally like temporarily joining the Republican Party to do that, to become 1-month Republicans and swarm the February 28th primary for Ron Paul. I think that'd be a really good thing and help the movement, I believe.
There's a lot of controversy in regards to like, who people in this movement should vote for. I support Ron Paul for his views on foreign policy and civil liberties.
Civil liberties and the Federal Reserve.
Oh, totally about ending the Fed. And I've actually been involved with talks to try to get Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Party to work together on the one thing they can agree on, which is end the Fed.
That'd be fantastic. I've been trying to like get a little colloquy going with like Tea Party people, because I know that we sat down and talked with them, we'd find about 85% agreement on a bunch of issues, and I haven't been able to do that yet, but I'm still working. We've only been doing this like 2 months, so give us a chance.
For those of you who are interested in looking, I don't know how well you can see them, but I also have Congressman Dennis Kucinich, and this is my End the Fed button for Occupy Detroit up at the top. And then over here, we have my buddy Senator Mike Gravel, who's going to be on V-RADIO coming up next week. I actually helped his candidacy for president. And then there's that Neil Kiernan Stevenson guy. That was me when I ran for Congress back in 2008.
Great.
So,
well, where's Mike Gravel a senator of? Is he a Michigan senator?
He's no longer a senator. He was an Alaska senator.
Oh, I see. Okay. I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
He was the senator who He was the senator who read the Pentagon Papers into the public record to expose the lies of Vietnam.
I see. Okay.
He also got the Alaska pipeline going, and he stopped nuclear testing in the South Pacific. He ran for president in 2008, first as a Democrat, and then I took him with me to the Libertarian Party during my time as a Libertarian. So
yeah, I come to think of it, I had seen, I think on C-SPAN or something, a little talk with him, and I go, he's what? I don't remember any.
Oh geez, he's like in his 80s now. I mean, he's literally a Vietnam era senator who came back because of Iraq. So he's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. I worked with him on his campaign, and I learned a lot from him. So, but all right, thanks for being on.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yep. All right, I'm here with, introduce yourself.
Steve.
Steve, all right. So how long have you been with Occupy Lansing?
Since October 8th.
There we go. Yeah, there was a light that was blaring in there.
October 8th, the first person posted like 12:08 a.m. that they were in the park, and I came down that afternoon and talked with about 3 or 4 people that were here.
Well, that's awesome. Now, I guess that means you were kind of here as it evolved. And I can see you guys are tough. You're still camping out here, and somebody I was talking to earlier said that you guys actually have like a lot of support from the local police department, and even the mayor's being pretty good to you guys. Do you want to comment on that?
Sure. I guess recently the mayor's expressed concern about people, their safety in the park in the winter with no heat.
Right.
And no reliable food source, so he asked if people could decamp. And I think the general consensus is that the tents would stay up, and there are 2 or 3 people that are staying here doing night watch to do security on the camp, and it would still be a congregation place during the day for people.
Excellent. Now, is this your first kind of activism you've ever done, or were you involved with activism?
No, I was involved with the Lansing Workers Center and the North Star Center on Lathrop Street here in Lansing for about 2.5 years.
Excellent. Did you do any other kind of activism, or?
We've done flyering for Walmart. We do workers' rights issues with a large sweatshop that we're working with locally here. And we have a lending library, and we've got a radical space here in Lansing.
Oh, excellent. Now, where do you see the Occupy movement going? Like, where would you like to see it evolve to?
Become more inclusive with more people involved that realize that the political economic situation exists here in America is untenable and not sustainable.
Okay, that's totally good. Now, any parting words you want to give to the people watching?
Get involved. Come down, talk to people in camp. Don't rely on the mainstream media. There's a lot of people, such as Matt Taibbi, that were somewhat disillusioned with this whole movement until they actually went to the camp to talk to people. So I think the key is actually to go down to where people are gathering and talk to them and find out what they're about.
That's actually awesome, and that's why I provide the alternative media. Thanks again.
Thank you.